Hey, everybody, it's your boy, Sean McLaughlin, at Options Sean on the old Twitter X. I'm back in the home studio. Been on the road quite a bit the last few weeks. I'm not fully done. Going on a quick little side trip this weekend to Charlotte, North Carolina to catch a football game. But then after that, as far as I can tell, I have no travel scheduled until February. I need the rest. It's been a tiring month. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Today is Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. This is the All-Star Options Jam session where I review action within the portfolio of All-Star Options trades. We've had a bunch of exits since we last spoke last week. Amazingly, they've all been profitable, some better than others, as we'll get into. So we'll review some of the exits we've had, some lessons that we've learned along the way. We'll give a little top-down view of what I'm thinking is going on in the market. We will update some stops on existing positions like we always do, and we'll do a quick little teaser on some of the new trades we've put on in the past week. So let's get right into it here. Let's bring up the old S&P 500. Look at this S&P. It is knocking on the door once again of all-time highs. If you would have listened to the news over the last couple of weeks, when we had this big red day here on October 10th, you would have thought the sky was falling and the end of the world was here. And if you're riding some high beta names like I am, not just in All-Star Options, but in other accounts that I trade, we've had some pretty strong rotation out of some high beta names. So it's been a wild ride the last couple of weeks, but man, you look at that S&P 500 chart, it's right there knocking on the door. Let's see what the Qs, I mean, the Qs don't look that much different, right? Knocking on the doors. And I was talking with JC earlier this morning on the morning show. Let's bring up the VIX chart here real quick. VIX is corroborating everything we're saying. It's like we got a 17 handle on the VIX, about to have a 16 handle, right back into the lows for the summer. Seems to me that the market is signaling an all clear. Do you agree? I don't know. I don't know if I agree. I would like to agree. I think that the market, I've written about this, you guys have heard me talk about this. I think the market is setting up for a face-ripping rally into the end of the year. I think the performance chase is real. I think there's a lot of underperforming hedge funds and big money managers that are out there who are behind their benchmarks. And the only way to catch up in this market is to buy stocks. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But to me, it feels like we are setting up for a big run into the end of the year. And maybe this little sector rotation we've had over the last couple of weeks of high flying names kind of rolling over, maybe that's what was needed to clear the decks for the next run higher. We shall see. All right. So let's talk about action in the portfolio here. Recently closed trades in no particular order, although I will say the best for last. All right. So here's Apple. We sold some short puts in Apple. We did this on this big red candle day, that October 10th. I looked at that chart and I said, volatility's rising. We got some support around the 240 level that looks pretty significant. We also have a rising 50-period moving average that was kind of coming up right around that 240 level. And I saw the premium in those 235 puts with November expiration. I said, man, that looks pretty tempting. So I sold them for 465. The plan was, as we laid out in the detailed plan that I published to all All-Star Options members, was that I'm going to sell these for 465 and I'm going to leave a good till canceled order to buy them back at half of what I collected. So in this case, I was looking to buy them back for about 230. Well, lo and behold, 7 days later, 7 trading days later, Apple had a nice little gap on the 20th, which was Monday this week. Yeah. Nice little gap, and I got filled at an even better price. I was willing to buy them at 230. I got filled at 210 right at the open. So I'm out of Apple. Not, when you sell puts, it's not a huge win, right? We're not going for home runs. We're going for high probability. That's the game. Taking advantage of the options premiums that were high, taking advantage of support, and leaning into that, and going for a high win percentage. When I'm selling naked puts, trades like these, I want to win 8 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times if I can, right? That's the beauty of these trades. Yes, you could take a large loss every once in a while if you're not careful, if you don't have any proper risk management in place. So you got to be vigilant on short puts, as I was. I traded this small, but I got my profit target, and we're moving on. All right, next up, AG. So we've been in this one a while. It started out as a call calendar spread back in mid-June. We sold the July 9 calls and bought the December 9 calls. We paid 84 cents all in. We covered those July 9 calls for 5 cents right here, right before July expiration. So add that 5 cents to our cost. Let's say so our net cost was 89 cents. Well, as you can see, we had quite a run with just the long December 9 calls on the books. We had this gap with gold and silver and the metals coming back pretty hard this week. So we got out, but we got out at 410. We paid 84 cents or 89 cents actually. Got out at 410. Great win. Did we get out at the top? No, of course not. We rarely ever get out of the top. But that is a great win in First Majestic Silver Corp. We are out. Congrats to those of you who took that trade. Next up, APLD. We were long the December 15 calls. We got into these in early August. According to the plan that I laid out to everybody, I sold half of my position when we got above 21 or 22 bucks, I believe was the price target at the time. Once we got there, I said to everybody, if we get to that price level, I'm going to sell half of my position for whatever I can get. In this case, I got 8 bucks. So I paid 265 for them. I got 8. So what's that? 2.5 times my money on half of the position. Great start. Stock continued to rip. And when we broke below 37.50, that was my new updated stop loss level on this trade. We had a close below it yesterday. And so we got out today, right? Yeah, we got out today, 1690. Actually, no, we got out of this yesterday. I was like, wait, I don't remember exiting this today. We barely closed below it on the 21st. We remained below that level, or we traded back below that level yesterday. So that's when I got out. Got out for 1690. So average price, what's this? 1245. Am I doing my math right? Average price of 1245. Got out of that. We paid 265. Fantastic win. What's that? 5x my money? Great, great trade. Congrats to those of you who were in that one. Golf clap, right? Awesome. All right, next up, MP. We got out of this one today. This was a bull call spread at December 65.85. We got into it back on August 4th. We had quite a run. And the way this thing pulled back on me when I was exiting today, the funny thing was I was feeling like this trade was a loss. I mean, you would think so, right? I mean, look at that sell-off we had. This level is not that much higher from where we got in. So I figured this thing would be a losing trade. Well, lo and behold, I got out at 660 and I noticed that, well, wait, I paid 325 for this. It's a win. How about that? So even my losers, or even stocks that are feel like losers are winning. That's the type of market we've been in. So congrats to those of you in MP. We are out following yesterday's close below 70, which was my stop loss level. And then finally, the trade that just doesn't make any sense. This trade in Simply Good Foods, we were long November 25 puts. We got into these puts in mid-August. And unless you've been living under a rock, you know that since mid-August, we've had an incredible bullish ripper in the stock market. We've seen so many stocks doubling, tripling in price. The indices making new highs day after day, it seemed like. You wouldn't think that a bearish trade would make any money, have any chance of making money in this market. Well, not only did Simply Foods follow through to the downside as we thought after just a couple of days of adverse price action once we got in, not only did it follow through, but then today, I believe this was an earnings fallout, I believe. Today we had a huge gap down, huge gap down. I was able to sell these puts for $6 today. I bought these puts for 45 cents. Today, getting out at $6. I'm no math major, but my calculator tells me that's a 1,200% gain. Now, I didn't gain 1,200% on my entire portfolio. I wish. This was a properly positioned size, right? This position was risking no more than 2% of my portfolio. But when you earn 1,200% on 2% of your portfolio, that is a meaningful addition to the bottom line, no matter how you slice it. So for those of you who rode this trade with me, congratulations. If you're still in it, you're being greedy. We had a price target of 22. When we got into this trade, our plan was if it got to 22, that's where I would take profits. Well, hey, it opened this morning at 19 and something, traded as low as 18. By the time I got out, I got $6 for it. Could have got a little more, but got to be quick. Man, what a fantastic trade. And the lesson here, guys, I wrote about it this morning. You probably saw my note. Um, just because we're in a bull market doesn't mean you can't put bearish trades on. And in fact, one of the big reasons why I put this trade on is because I had a lot of bullish exposure and I wanted to have some kind of diversification in my portfolio. And I wanted to be diversified in names that looked weak. And when we put this trade on, if we just kind of move that off the screen there, when we put this trade on, I mean, this stock was making new lows, right? In a raging bull market, this stock was making new lows. So these are the types of stocks I want to be short in a bull market, because if the market were to roll over, this thing probably would have led the way. Well, guess what? The market did not roll over, but this stock still led the way down. Wow, what a great trade, guys. Congrats to those of you who are in this one. These are the types of trades that make our year. In fact, this right now on the books is the biggest winning trade, at least in terms of closed trades, the biggest winning trade of the year for the All-Star Options portfolio. And it's twice as big as my second best trade. So how about that on a bearish trade? Wow, blown away. Okay, let's move on from that. Let's update some stops real quick. We only have one stop to update, only one, and it's not even an update. It's an add. We're adding a stop. When I put this trade on in Vail, I got the long December 12 calls for 75 cents back on September 9th. I believe that was the date. I put that trade on and I said, you know what? I'm putting this trade on with no stop loss. It's an in it to win it type trade. I mean, I'm either a hero or it's a zero, right? Well, the stock has gone our way and is continuing to go our way. So now I'm going to initiate a trailing stop. And I'm going to initiate that trailing stop at 11 bucks. Perhaps that's too aggressive, but December will be here sooner than you think, guys. I know it sounds crazy, but we're starting to get towards expiration, and these calls are still technically out of the money. With the stock trading at 11.50, our $12 calls are out of the money. So I don't want this to get too far away from me, because whatever premium is left in these calls is going to start to rapidly erode. So I'm initiating a stop here on my Vail position at 11 bucks. Any close below 11 will get me out of Vail. And that's the only stop we've got, guys. That's the only stop we got. So I'll update this slide here for you. I don't know if you need to take a screenshot of this, but that's the only stop we've got. All right. Now, lastly, let's review some new trades we have. We've put on two new trades since we spoke last week. First one was Rio Tinto. This is they play in the oil sector, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I get made fun of all the times. I don't always know what these tickers do, but I'm pretty sure this is it's either oil or Brazilian mining. Maybe it's Brazilian mining. I think that's what it is. Who cares? Symbols and numbers. That's all I care about. And it's going my way. That's really what I care about. Got into this trade. All the details for these trades can be found at allstarcharts.com. Head to the members section, head to the options section. You'll find detailed trade plans for every trade I put on. Rio is one of them, a bullish bet there. The next one is SoFi. Just did this one today, just about an hour ago. Just put it on. All the All-Star Options members were alerted in both the chat room and an email. Guys, if you're not a member of All-Star Options, what are you waiting for? What are you sleeping on? You get detailed trade plans for every trade that I put on. Everything you need to know, from risk management, where you may or may not take profits, where we're stopping out, how we're what option strategy we're using and why. All those details are there so that you could either do what I do or make the trade your own with some context, right? So that's it. Those are the two new trades we put on, and that's all I got for you guys. Good job hanging in there during the recent volatility. I think the smoke is starting to clear, with VIX getting back down there near the lowest levels it's been this summer, and with the S&P and the Qs knocking on the door of all-time highs. I think the worst is behind us. Get yourself ready for what could be a face ripper into the end of the year. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but that's what it feels like, and I'm going to be here ready to play it in case we're right. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your trading day. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you back online next Wednesday with the What Are My Options show. And of course, we'll do the Options Jam session again on Thursday next week. Until then, hit me up anytime. You guys can find me on Twitter at OptionsSean, or shoot me an email, info@allstarcharts.com. It'll get routed to me, and I'll be happy to help you out. All right. And if you're not subscribed to my newsletter, the link is at the top in the chat. Please get in there. And yes, Matthew, I am sporting the Canadian tuxedo. Yes, you can't see it, but I got jeans on down here, and I'm going out tonight to visit with some people. I'm going to put my jean jacket on too. I'm going full Canadian tuxedo tonight. You're welcome, world. You're welcome. All right, guys. See you next time.